Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom. Just imagine that there are waves crashing behind me. And we'll make the noise ourselves.
Seen that movie where the protagonist practices just saying yes. He's always the no man, no, no, no. And he says, from now on, I'm going to say yes. And it changes his life. And so what I want us to maybe just practice and try is just say yes. And what I mean by yes is to say, I'm going to agree for a moment, maybe for Shabbat, for 24 hours, to life as it is. I'm going to say yes to life, which means I'm going to let go of the resistance and the fight I'm putting up with this and with that. And it might offer us a whole new way of looking at the world. Because there are things we can control and the things we can't control. We don't need to fight them all the time. You know, often we think of happiness as out of our control. And there's a lot of things we can't control. In reality, we think our happiness depends on what happens to us. But in reality, we have incredible ability to say yes. An ability to find happiness not in those things that are happening all around us, but the ability to say yes to life, to say yes to those things that matter most, to say yes to joy. Joy is the gateway to holiness. To say yes to living fully in this wonderful moment. And we do that how? By embracing Shabbat and wishing one another
Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom.
I was fortunate to spend many years studying and learning in Israel. I will never forget when I met this rabbi who was also a therapist, a very well-known psychiatrist from Pennsylvania. And he said to us that he would give advice to all these people about finding their inner peace. And one time he was on vacation, and he had a few minutes to go into a hot tub. He sits in the hot tub, and he just couldn't relax. He realized there was so much going on, this frenzy. He had to do this or do that. He didn't know how to just let his soul be at peace. And so as we enter in and we can just sit here and feel the peace, we are in no rush to go anywhere. We have this hour together this evening to get in touch with our inner selves and our inner peace. And so let's let our souls expand. Ele Chamda Libi. These are the desires of our heart. Join us on page 11. shouldn't say this out loud, but I'm becoming a little superstitious with lizards, because all these different types of lizards, and now I see those lizards, the black ones with the orange tails.
There are a lot around here.
But apparently they're not dangerous at all. But when I see a bright green lizard, it makes me smile. And whether it's a good luck charm or not, it makes me just pause and for a moment, and I think of a relative who loves those green lizards, and it's an instantaneous joy because that lizard skedaddles out of there, and I feel so graced that the chances of me seeing the lizard at that time, and yet it lingers with me for hours, and it brings me a smile. So when we say the Shehechianu blessing, our rabbis 2,000 years ago, they said it doesn't just have to be the purchase of a new house. They literally say it could be big things or little things. Those things that bring us joy, and we honor them. But in order to do that, we have to make room. We have to be looking for them. So let's just let out any joys that are getting in the way. We go, oi, oi. And now we can breathe in all the wonderful joys in our life. Do we have specific joyous moments we'd like to share? Yes, Iris?
Special person in my life had a birthday yesterday.
Happy birthday, Richard. Yes. Happy birthday, yes. Other wonderful moments, yes. 5th anniversary, John and Seal, we're so happy. Well now, it feels like you've known each other for 100 years. How long have you known each other? 52 years. 5 years going on 52. I absolutely love that. Yes.
I was just going to say, I don't have an anniversary, but I have my two close friends who came to visit from Del Rey.
Wonderful. There's something special, right, about sharing things that you love in this community with close friends, and I hope you feel at home here. Who else is here for the very first time this evening? Oh, wonderful. You're two close friends. Don't make me jump.
Happy birthday.
We're happy you're here, Maddie, and we're going to hear Maddie join us and sing for us later on in the service. Yes, other beautiful moments. Yes.
We just had our
64th anniversary on July 4th. Mazel tov. I always think of the song When I'm 64, right? And that idea that you have fireworks every year. Mazel tov. We're so happy for you all. For all these beautiful moments in the Brown family, and I like your face paint. I love it, I love it, I love it. Well, for all these beautiful moments, yes, what else? And people keep on coming in. This is fantastic. Come on in. Welcome, 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 Temple. So what we do as a community is these joys, they fill us up, and we celebrate and we relish in them. Let's invite God into this moment. Please rise if you are able to feel the energy in this room as we sing the Shehechianu blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kim'anu v'higianu hazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kim'anu v'higianu hazman hazeh. Amen.
As we turn to page 24 for Shalom Aleichem, please take a moment and look around. Find somebody that you don't know that well or haven't seen in a while. See how their week was and wish them a hearty Shabbat Shalom. Now that we know that you're celebrating 5 years together, but really 52 years together, you understand reconnecting and sharing the light with one another, it lifts you both up. And our rabbis say, Tovim shnayim me'achad, two are better than one, because when one slips, the other can be there to help lift them up. But it's not just as a couple, but you help lift up this community. You are, and I mean this with lots of love and respect and admiration, you are the schlepper of the caring community. And those of us in our community, the numerous ones who have been touched by your generosity, the love, and the personal attention you give to those in need of that love and care, it creates this beautiful community. And so we just hope and bless both of you that you continue to lift each other up at the way you care so much for all of us here. So I invite you now to light the candles.
We join together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. Yasher koach. Mazel tov. Mazel tov. You can have it. Here, come. Bring it over. As we turn to page 5 for the Kiddush, as we lift up this cup, I want you to think about something that went really well this week that you want to celebrate more of. And if it was so great, then why'd you have to wait so long for it? And we can rewire our brains, because even though that moment came and passed, it can become truly a part of who you are and what you represent. So when we look around the world and we want to celebrate those special moments, we look back at this week and we say together on page 5, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikra'ei kodesh zecher l'tzion Mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kedashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Amen. Have a sip of the sweet grape juice. Yasher koach, yasher koach. As we continue on page 12 to Lechu Naranana, to sing out to God. To sing out to God. That's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to sing out to God. You know, sometimes we talk to God. Sometimes we question God. Sometimes we ignore God. Sometimes we're angry at God. But tonight, we're just going to sing out to God and treasure all the blessings we have in our life.
Strong.
turn next to a psalm on page 14, Or Zarua, the light that is planted by the righteous. And I'm constantly amazed by the incredible people in this world. And more often than not, the better I get to know somebody, the more I'm amazed. If I take that time to peel back that layer, I can't believe what's there, and I realize how much it's on us sometimes to take the time and pay attention. So let's do that with those loved ones around us. Let's constantly be amazed and awed by them. And you know what? Let's not be too coy, and let's also share some of our awesomeness with others. Page 14, Or Zarua. Page 20 with Lecha Dodi, it's a reminder that Shabbat, it's more than just a pause to refresh ourselves. It really is a break, a pause to transform ourselves. And I'll tell you, as an educator working with our 100 students, we have to figure out how to fit them all in our school, Morley. If you were to ask me what I want them to come away with, I want it to be transformational. I want it to be that they open the door for their friends, for their teachers, for a guest who's coming in. That means everything to me. And so I'm going to put you to work right now. If you're under the age of 14, raise your hand. Who's under the age of 14? You're going to help me do what I think is the holiest act you could do in a few minutes, which is to open the door for other people. And tonight we're going to open it up for the Sabbath bride. We'll join together in a minute. Lecha Dodi.
I love how they kept their hands up. That was cute.
Shabbat
turn to welcome the Sabbath bride.
בואי ושלום, עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובשורה, טוב אמונה, המשגה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה.
As we prepare ourselves for the Baruch Hu on page 28, just take a moment and look to your right and look to your left and maybe look behind you. There's something powerful about the Baruch Hu. It's a reminder that we're in this together. We're stronger together, and we don't have to do this alone. That's the power that we recognize with the Baruch Hu, page 28.
Ya la la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai, HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach. Le'olam va'ed, le'olam, 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 le'olam va'ed. Ya la la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la.
You may be seated as we turn to page 30. On page 30, as we welcome in the evening, and just being here in South Florida, we see how rapidly things change. It could be raining one moment, bright and sunny the next moment.
Yes.
It can be light and darkness. It's constantly, there's an ebb and a flow. And we can't fight it, so what do? We embrace it, and we celebrate it. Together on page 30, let's read the English. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzvaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings evening.
ומעביר יום ומעביר לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריף ערבים.
Amen. Continue to page 32 with this blessing, Ahavat Olam. You know, at the end of each day, the end of the week, we take a moment and reflect on this deep love that God has for each and every one of us. And I want to share with you a poem that I adore, especially because many of us thought maybe we would be on the beach this evening. So if you close your eyes.
I was going to say, shh.
And just pretend there's some seagulls flying above you. One night I dreamed a dream as I was walking along the beach with my God. Across the dark sky flashed scenes from my life. For each scene I noticed 2 sets of footprints in the sand. One belonging to me and one to my God. After the last scene of my life flashed before me, I looked back at the footprints in the sand. I noticed that at many times along the path of my life, especially at the very lowest and saddest times, there was only one set of footprints. This really troubled me. So I asked God about it. I said, God, you said once I decided to join you, to follow you, you'd walk with me all the way. But I noticed that during the saddest and most troublesome times of my life, there was only one set of footprints. I don't understand why. When I needed you the most, how could you leave me? And God whispered, my precious child, I love you. And I will never leave you, never, ever during your trials and testings. When you saw only one set of footprints in the sand, it was then that I carried you.
באהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל.
Page 34. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Let's continue. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך. וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם. Let's continue on page 40 with the Micha Mocha, a reminder that redemption, it's not just something that happened thousands of years ago, but each of us in our own lives can find sometimes solutions to problems that seem impossible, because beyond probability, there's always the possibility. You can feel it coming through your kishkas inside and outside. I love it, I love it.
So as most of you know, or some of you know, I'm a big fan of the beach. And it's not just because the beach is beautiful, but it's because where I find God. It's one of those places that fills me with awe. Wow. Fills me with awful, being scared, coming to the beach in the storm, seeing the waves come alive. And it reminds me of the turning of life. What's real, what isn't real. It's all happening in the beach. So I know we're not there now, but when we turn to this prayer on page 42, the best part about this prayer is that it keeps us in what's real, keeps us in what is most important. Stop where God is. Because when we stop, when we welcome God in, that's where God is. So let's pray together.
From this sense of inner peace, we realize that we can connect to God in so many different ways. And so, as you please rise if you're able and turn to page 46, I invite you to think about the fact that when we talk about God, that's when things get very heady and complicated. And yet, when we just talk to God, when we just bring to God our concerns, our dreams, our hopes, our questions, that's when we find it so easy to open up our hearts. Let's turn east towards Jerusalem, page 46. The meaning of Shabbat is to celebrate time rather than space. 6 days a week we live under the tyranny of things in space. And on Shabbat we try to become attuned to the holiness of time. It is a day in which we are called upon to share in what is eternal in time, to turn from the results of creation to the mystery of creation, from the world of creation to the creation of the world. Please take a few moments for your own personal prayers, and we'll join together in another minute or so. Grant abundant peace to Israel, your people forever. For you are the sovereign God of all peace. May it be pleasing to you to bless your people in every season and moment with your peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamvorach et amo Yisrael, b'shalom. Blessed are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace.
Shalom HaYisrael
As I bring out our healing talit, I invite you to please rise and take a few steps closer. Those of you who are searching health and well-being for yourself and for your loved ones, please come if you feel comfortable under our healing talit. I also invite you to maybe put a healing hand, a loving touch on someone if you feel comfortable doing so. And at this time, let's think about those people in our lives who are in need of a blessing, a prayer for health. Picture them the way you want to picture them. Hold them in your hearts, and you can even whisper their name right now as we pray together. God, here we are once again. So many of us, we're in pain and we're struggling and we're in need of healing of mind, body, head, and heart. And sometimes we have ailments or challenges that are way beyond what we could ever think we can handle. So God, please give us the gift of being able to handle. Please help us handle things that we don't fully understand. Please help us handle things that we don't know how long they'll take to heal. Please help us handle being told that our recovery will take a little bit longer than we might have liked. And in doing so, let us find the ability to handle things by being constantly encouraged, feeling the love of those people who are praying for our wellness and well-being. And we know, God, that you are the God of healing. So please grant us with healing Baruch atah Adonai, Shomei Rofei Cholim, God who hears our prayers and heals us. And let us say, Amen. Please lend a touch, a handshake, a kiss, or a hug to someone next to you. So I mentioned before that there's some people who I'm in awe of. And sometimes, maybe after a certain amount of time, you lose that sense of awe, but every time I learn more and more about Theodor Herzl, I'm truly in awe of this great man, this great figure, the founder of the Zionist movement, who envisioned the state of Israel at a time when everybody thought between you and me was abyssal meshugana, a little crazy. And so I want to share with you that in the 19th century, Herzl witnessed tremendous suffering and persecution of his fellow Jews. And so his response was to solve the problem, to build a home for Jews that would now be called the State of Israel. So there he was in 1897, presiding over the first Zionist Congress in Basel, and he boasted in his diary, L'état, c'est moi. My French isn't so good, and what that means in English is, today I founded the state of Israel. But he continues in his journal, in his diary, if I would have said this out loud, I would have been greeted by laughter. Everybody in the room would have laughed at me and poked me and derided me for this idea. And he goes on to say, perhaps in 5 years or 50 years, everyone will realize it. Well, it actually only took 5 years for people to realize it. You see, no one in the room really had the patience for the vision of Theodor Herzl. And what made him a leader was not just his desire to do good, to assuage the suffering of his fellow Jews, but his strategic vision that sometimes takes a little bit of time. You know the words, Im tirtzu ein zo agada, if you will it, it is no dream, it is no fairy tale. But if you do not will it, it will remain a fairy tale. And all the activity of mankind was a dream once, and will again be a dream. So he teaches us not just to dream, but to build upon those dreams, even if it takes a few years and decades. And we know that Herzl himself never lived long enough to see, in 1948, the official birth and the State of Israel come into being. And did you know during this time period, when he was building up the State of Israel, there were many, many debates, many, many deliberations, and they considered up to 34 different possible homes for the Jews, not in the land of Israel. Many of us know about Uganda, but did you know they also considered a place in Alaska, Japan, Madagascar, you name it. They just wanted to find a piece of land to bring safety and security. Florida, right? Boca Raton. Maybe that was in there. I don't know. I'll have to double check. However, in our Torah portion, we meet Phinehas, who was all zeal and passion, but lacked the patience. And he rises to the public eye as a result of one single heroic event, a violent event. He saw an awful situation where his fellow Jews were dying, and he helped stop the plague that was causing these Jews to die, but it required an immediate act of violence. He is impetuous, unpredictable, and he acted as a loner. He's brave and passionate, but his act of vigilante justice does not make him worthy of being a leader. And we're going to see this. You might have expected that after doing this incredible act, so brave and so passionate, that Moses, who was now 120 years old and needed someone to take over, would say, aha, this is the man for the job. But that's exactly what does not happen. His zealotry disqualifies him from leading the people. A famous Rebbe, the Kotzker Rebbe, who I love and adore, he explains that Moses always maybe assumed that Pinchas would be and should be a possible contender for leadership. But after seeing this zealousness, he realized a zealot cannot be the leader of Israel, and he has to turn to find another alternative. And eventually it is Joshua, not Pinchas, who is chosen to succeed Moses. So what is different about Joshua? Well, the Torah describes him as having a special ruach, a special spirit. He was a person and a personality that was able to both connect with hot-headed people and with patient people. He was able to connect with all different aspects of the extremists, if you will, on both sides. Extreme and moderate, honest and fraudulent, aggressive and calm, tolerant and intolerant. Joshua was the person who could listen and respect diverse opinions of the people. And he embodied the ability to act zealously when needed, but also the patience to listen. You know, so often you turn on the news and there's a new scandal, there's breaking news, and there's a desire to be the very first person to have something brilliant or wise to say what will be, to have something, a deep insight. And we feel that zeal to act and to make a comment, but we don't always have the patience to even wait 24 hours to get the whole story. And I'm very saddened to tell you that a few weeks ago, there was a teacher that I knew about who, for whatever reason, had to leave school 2 weeks early. Well, you can only imagine the conversations amongst the parents of what had happened, why, and I'm looking at this, and it's shocking, and you start to believe it. And then, just a few days ago, an announcement comes out that his father had passed away. And we sent a condolence letter and a note to this teacher. How could it be? How could it be that this beloved teacher, this person everyone loved and respected, with a little bit of doubt, everyone just jumps on the bandwagon and just thinks the worst? So we have a choice. Who do we want to be? Do we want to be Pinchas? Do we want to be Joshua? Maybe we shouldn't always be so quick to judge, to act, to dismiss, to decide who is guilty. Maybe we have to give people a little more benefit of the doubt. Maybe we should be a little more generous with our love. And this is not being naive. This helps build a community of trust, and that's what communities need to thrive. So if you were sitting next to Herzl, how would you have acted if you were there? Would you have laughed and been dismissive, maybe like a Pinchas? Or maybe would you have patiently listened like a Joshua, realizing it would only take a few years for Herzl's dream to come true? So let's listen very carefully now to the words of Herzl. And you would hear him saying, Im tirtzu ein zo agada, if you will it, it is no dream. I know some of you are here to say Kaddish this evening and joining us online to remember loved ones. So I want to suggest, I want to invite you to think about this notion of saying Todah, which we often translate as gratitude, but the same word in Hebrew means to recognize, to take a moment and to recognize all the gifts that we have received from these loved ones, no matter if we were with them for a very long time or a short amount of time. So we say thank you for the time we shared together, for the love that you gave us, for the wisdom that you spread. And we believe that we will carry and treasure these lessons that you taught us. And we realize that we want that person to know, that loved one, that we were so proud to be a part of your life. On this Friday night, we remember the recent losses in our community. And when you hear the name of a loved one, the custom here at Temple Judea is to please rise and remain standing so you can feel the love and support of our temple community. We remember Nancy Cohen, wife of Martin Cohen, Stephen Schindler, son of Elaine Schindler, Ann Tannen, congregant and friend, Fred Weisberg, father of Perry Weisberg, who passed away this week. We also remember loved ones who passed during this season in years past. Aaron Almus, Jerome S. Berg, Zemor Brisdell, Gertrude Chodos, Judy Demain, Lawrence Dorsky, Taba Dresser, Esther Garber, Henry Gendel, Elsie Gideon, Gloria Glazer, Eugene Godlin, Fran Golden, Stephen Goldstein, Abe Gervitz, Caroline Hauka, Jerome Hart, Stanley Hartstein, Gilbert Kaplan, Philip Karch, Helen Keller, Kenneth Kerman, Carolyn Kurtz, Stuart Levine, Eve Metzger, Norman Morse, David Most, Joshua Most, Maurice Rogowski, Benjamin Rosen, Carol Rosenstein, Martin Samuels, Morris Schwartz, Joseph Shane, Harvey Shore, Joseph Siegel, Philip Siegel, Jerome Skalka, Gertrude Smith, Ruth Saraki, Leon Stein, Gertrude Stencil, Teresa Stubenhaus, Martin Wannock, and Ida Witt. Are there names of loved ones for whom you have come this evening and you would like to share their names at this time now? I invite you all now as one temple family to please rise and turn to page 294 for the Mourner's Kaddish.
Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach hiotei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam ulmei almaya, v'yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal shemei d'kusha barichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya
v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony and peace on high bring peace to each and every one of us. And let us say, Amen, amen. And the idea of being here for 1 hour, it's not just a sanctuary where we can be uplifted, but we walk out of here with joy in our hearts, singing, and we're going to take that everywhere we go, all Shabbat long.
Thank you for adding more joy, Maddie Prince, who joined us, and Iran and Buckley, bringing extra ruach to this beautiful evening. Shabbat Shalom. Join with me. Yivdu, it's Adonai B'Simcha. Yivdu, it's Adonai B'Simcha. Oh, lefanav, lefanav. Shabbat Shalom. Grab a challah on your way out.
Shabbat Shalom. Good job, guys. Hey, Shabbat Shalom. How you doing? Glad you came. Oh, is it the same time?
Yeah.
No. Okay, we can always move it then. I'm not, but we can move it, okay?
No, well, we weren't going to go to the movie, but...
Oh, is that the Lunch and Learn movie?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
I think
Oh,
it's
Shabbat Shalom.
It's on the calendar.
Oh, so maybe I didn't look at it. So if you have to move it, we'll move it a week, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Might have to. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm going to do a little Aleph Theater tomorrow, so I'll take a different direction. So it was so good, I couldn't not use it. I like to make it up myself, but it's so good.
Feel the best.
Great
singing. Okay, we feel better.
All right.
That's what you said.
There's a reason that I grabbed you, and I'll tell you the next time I see you.
Good. Okay, I love it. How are you? I want to know what's going on. I don't know if you've been in Israel already or.
Look for that. Looking for that clear
Okay,
umbrella.
that would be awesome. I love it. I love it. Hey, Barbara. I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to this.
Me too.
Can I meet you? Either we'll go together, or can we be there at the museum at 2 o'clock? Is that too late?
No, that's
Like 2 to 4 or something like that? 2 to 4? Okay. My kids are in summer camp, except for the little one, so it's a lot easier to. And I've been wanting to go for so long.
Prefer to meet there?
As of now, we'll meet there at 2 o'clock. Okay?
Okay, very good.
That's what I'm
Told
doing.
them we have a date.
I know. Good. Hey, I had fun at dinner last week. I feel like I got to schmooze with you all. It was really good. My kids went up from, so they're there now.
You drove up?
We put them on the airplane and we dropped them off. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. There were chaperones. There was a whole group. And actually, one of the rabbis, I didn't realize it, but he was there, an old friend of mine. So, but we'll see.
nice.
Yeah. So your kids,
And my kids came back on Sunday.
Thank you. Give your wife a big hug to me, okay?
I will. They came back Sunday crying. They didn't want to leave.
Oh my goodness. Our son was like a little, they posted some pictures, and there was a picture of him crying. So it was his first time there, so I think he's fine now.
He'll be fine.
He'll be fine, I know. I don't think I'm one of those parents, but now I want to like know what it was. I'm like speculating. And, anyway,
It's just routine.
it's just this. What are you all doing this weekend?
Nothing.
Nothing. Relax.
Did you end up doing anything for the fireworks?
So we're going now this weekend. We're gonna put the little one with my in-laws, and so we're gonna go to a hotel and just have like a night out, and so it'll be great. Yeah. So we're gonna go to Del Rey. So we're gonna explore Del Rey. That's it. It's funny, we don't know it that well, right? We've driven by it 100 times. Do you spend time in Del Rey?
We have in the past, but not for a long time.
Okay. Well, we'll let you know how it
My
goes.
sister has a
Okay. Apparently, it's when I grew up, it wasn't really a big deal, but now it's like. The country club there? Okay. I remember the Polo Club. That was the closest thing we got to Del Rey, even though it said Boca.
That's right.
Well, have a wonderful Shabbat.
Thank you,
Shabbat
you too.
Shalom. And we'll have to dine again together. I look forward.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
What did you do with Rabbi Yaron?
So he's in Israel. He should be coming back in the next few days. He's doing this Hartman summer program. It's sort of a rabbinic intensive where you have rabbis from all over the country, Reform, Conservative, Orthodox. They all come together and they do their sort of, it's like a 3-year cohort. So you build this relationship. One day I'll go.
Don't leave us.
I will.
Even for 5 minutes.
Very sweet. I think. Awesome. Okay. Well, Shabbat Shalom. You eat the bread, right? You eat the challah?
No, we don't eat it.
You'll give it to.
Give it to the kids.
Give it to the kids. Make French toast for them. It's good. Okay. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Have fun. So Elijah, he's like cooking utensils. He doesn't. Oh my goodness. Thank you. He left them at home, but that's fine. And he wanted to bring a cell phone, but it's just at home. He won't remember. But if he does, okay?
Hi, Rabbi. Rabbi Feivel, this is my mom, Linda. Linda, this is
know
Melanie.
me. Yes.
Yeah, but I wanted to introduce you to Maddie's friends.
Excellent. Oh, excellent. What's your name?
Abby.
Abby. That's my wife's name, Abby. How do you spell it?
ABBY.
A-B-B-Y. She does I-E. But the weird thing is, it's also my father's name is Abby.
Is it really? That's
And he
amazing.
spells it. Yes, and he's A-B-B-E-Y. So I'm always kind of. And what's your name? Amber. That's my father's middle name. No, I'm joking. That's not,
That would have been very awkward.
no, the weird thing is, no, he doesn't have a middle name.
Seriously?
Yeah, he doesn't have a middle name. It's a Jewish thing. I mean, I've heard people joke that his family was too poor to give him a middle name, but it's
I just learned
Oops, slippery.
my niece
Yeah.
is pregnant and her husband is